morning, everyone. Welcome to our June 24, 2025 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting here at our Madison County Fiscal Courtroom in our annex building at 135 West Irvin Street. Appreciate everybody being here. At this time, Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs?
Here.
Master Lockmuller?
Here.
Master Hughes?
Here.
Master Bachton?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. And I want to invite the youth and missions pastor up from the Vineyard Church to come up and lead us in a word of prayer. Appreciate you being here today. Tell my buddy Joe I said hello. Yeah.
Will do, will do. All right, if y'all will pray with me. Heavenly Father, we just pray right now that you be here in this space, that you just allow us to act in wisdom and integrity and with compassion for the people of Madison County, Lord. These are your people, and you love them, and you see all that's going on here. And so, Lord, we just invite you to be present in all of the decisions and the goings on here today, Lord. We know that you care about us and about this county and just all of the goodness that's happening within it. So, Lord, we just pray for you to work in this space. And we pray all of this in your Son's holy name. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Sheriff, if you will, lead us in play.
Everyone, please stand, face our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Members of the court, y'all have had a chance to look over the previous meeting minutes. That was our June 10th, 2025 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Thank you all both. Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bachton?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is our monthly treasurer's report. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As of May 31st, 2025, our total fund budget was $46,964,975.29. Our general fund revenues were 122.48%, expenditures 38.97%. Our road fund revenues 76.9%, expenditures 74.6%. Our jail fund revenues 84.74%, expenditures 85.99%. LGEA fund revenues were 104.36%, expenditures 19.13%. CSEP fund revenues 37.18%, and expenditures 32.46%. 911 fund 97.09% in revenues, expenditures 69.2%. And our health fund revenues were 98.45%, expenditures 74.44%.
That's good. Do we have one more pay that goes into the health account for this fiscal year?
Yes.
Is there one more?
Yes, the June.
All right. All right, thank you, Sarah. Any questions, members of the court? Thank you, Sarah, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Next, I would ask the court to allow us to amend the agenda to have some 911 fee discussion this morning.
Motion to amend. Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bachton?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all very much. Jill, just go on and get that out of the way.
Yes, members of the court, public citizens are here. Just want to give you guys this opportunity to give you a little update. As everyone knows, the court last year in 2024, after about a 2-year process with the post-HESEP task force and in collaboration with both the city of Richmond and the city of Berea, we made the decision to modify our 911 fee and what that looks like. Since 1992, there had been a 911 fee on landline phones, as we've discussed many times. Most of us don't have a landline any longer, and so that precipitated the need to make that change. So as we roll through the process of trying to get things ready this fall for that to be applied, if you'll remember, I think it was actually the suggestion of Sheriff Coyle, which we all thought was a great suggestion, that we actually put on our property tax bill last year for people to be aware, hey, this is coming next year. It didn't have an amount or anything of that nature, but it was on the property tax bill last year so people could begin to be aware. We've been communicating this over the course of the last year, but now we are here. And so letters or notification letters went out within the last couple of weeks. People have gotten those as early as last Tuesday and as late as today. Obviously, those went out through the Postal Service, and so everybody's is going to arrive at a slightly different time. But we wanted to make sure you are aware of a few things just to be able to answer questions that maybe you get from your constituents or the citizens, or that citizens have that may be watching today. One of the first things is the appeal process and the application and how to do that. And so you can do that online. We have some stations set up where people have done that here. You can do it for a friend or for a neighbor. Magistrates, I've told a few of you, you are welcome to do it for your citizens to be very helpful to them. You can go online. For those of you that are in the room or maybe watching, you can see that on our website. There's also a QR code and a link on the letter that you may have received. But if you go to the homepage of our website, and this is really awkward because they're driving from behind the window here, but you will see the 911 appeal application just as you see it on the screen. That includes some important information that we need to make adjustments should your information be incorrect. And so if that information is incorrect or you have questions about it, the best way for us to know that is for you to tell us. That is the reason that we sent out the letters. That's been part of the process in order to make sure that when the bills come later this year, that the information that we have on file is correct. And so you would submit the property name, the address, the parcel number. That's all going to be included in that little gray box in your letter. Your phone number, email address, if you have one. If not, magistrate Hughes, if you're putting that in for somebody, you could include your own. That's where the confirmation will be sent to. That's also where the follow-up of, hey, this has been changed, will be sent to. So if you have an email address, that's important because you're going to get that continual communication so that you can make sure that you know what's going on. And then there are 4 reasons that are listed in a drop-down for reasons that you would appeal. Those reasons are incorrect square footage, incorrect zone classification, same property owner or contingent property, or that you have you pay a current landline fee. So those are 4 reasons that it dropped down. Now, the first one is incorrect square footage. And so what we've seen over the last week is most people are selecting incorrect square footage because it's the first one on the list, even if that is not what they intend their concern to be. So just make sure and use that drop down appropriately. Speaking of square footage, we'll go through these really quickly. Square footage does include all improved square footage. This is a question that we've gotten a lot over the course of the last few days of what does that include, or how has that information come forward. So improved square footage is going to be your finished square feet, obviously, and then any improved square footage like your garage that has electrical, it has drywall, it's finished, it's a useful space for you. You may not live in it, but it is a used space. It would not include an unfinished basement that doesn't have electrical or walls or anything of that nature. So that is one of the biggest things that we've seen is it has calculated, the information we've had is calculated a total square footage. And so it may include an unfinished basement. That shouldn't be included, but just let us know. Fill out the appeal form, let us know, say, hey, my basement's included, it's not finished. If you have pictures or if you have a floor plan or something of that nature that you want to attach to help verify that, that's awesome. It gives you the opportunity to upload that with your appeal. The more information you provide us, the better, and the more that we can do it more quickly, because that saves us from doing a lot of research and trying to figure out those things, so if you provide that information to us. But that's the number one question that we've had related to square footage. The second category for appeal is the zoning classification. And so this, it'll say on your letter in that little gray box again, that, hey, it's a single-family dwelling, it's a multifamily dwelling, it's an occupied business. If that is incorrect for some reason, and it says multifamily, but you live in a single-family house, hey, that's the things that we want to know. We have discovered through this process a few streets and subdivisions throughout the county where maybe the entire street or subdivision has been classified incorrectly. That could be as a result of an old zoning classification that's there in a legacy, and when that information pulled over from the maps, we have, as we identify one of those or someone makes us aware, we're flagging the entire street to make sure that we correct it moving forward. But if that is something that's happened to you and you're like, hey, this says multifamily, but you know, we have one entrance, it's just us and my family that lives here, let us know that. That's how we make sure that we don't miss those things going forward.
Jill, can you add a little bit to that too about the zoning? I mean, we don't zone areas inside the city limits of Richmond and Berea.
Correct.
And most of those wrong zonings are in Baker Court's a great example.
That is a perfect example.
It shows R2. R2 is duplex, and so it's giving a multifamily to all those single-family residents. So we don't have control over that. It is the correct zoning because that's what it shows, like on the City of Richmond zoning map is R2. So all somebody has to do. Will you kind of just talk about that a little bit, because we're not finding that really that I know about in the county.
No, you're exactly right, Judge Taylor. We are finding that some of those, a lot of times it has been an older street or older neighborhood where that's the case, but that's how it's zoned with the city. But we're not in charge of zoning. This is not about zoning. This is about your 911 classification. And so we want it to be how that property is utilized, and that is the rate that should be applied. So if you are a single-family resident on Baker Court, I think that was the first call that we received, actually, is this says multifamily, and it's just my house. And we could clearly look that up. We utilize the PVA data to look that up and see that it's a single-family residence and can make that adjustment. We don't, all of that information from the zoning came and was pulled over directly from the zoning maps for each jurisdiction. So if those hadn't been updated, or there's anything of that nature, or there's legacy zones in there, I think there's another one out in the Golden Leaf area, and that area is zoned as a PUD, so it has actually mixed use, and so all of that zoning came over as like multifamily. Well, we all know, Magistrate Botkin, you're in that area all the time. We know that there's single-family residents out there. I have assured those people that, hey, when they call, thankfully your neighbors let us know, and we've already making that address. But if you see that on yours, it does not hurt to also let us know. So all of those things, those are really spot issues, but they impact several people in a particular area, street, or neighborhood. Does that answer that question? That's probably some of the questions that you all have received, I'm guessing. So the third classification that you would want to submit an appeal for is the same property owner in a contingent property. And so what that means is you own a vacant lot next to your home, and you're the same property owner. You may receive 2 property tax bills for that, but in the 911 fee classification, you have the ability to appeal that, and so that vacant lot fee, which is $25, will be combined with your single-family farm dwelling residence, and you just have to let us know that, hey, I own this property that's contiguous, and that we'll make that and combine that into one. This was actually a result of some feedback we received after the first work session from some citizens. And I can't remember the lady's name who made this suggestion, because she said, hey, I own where my house is, and I have 15 acres adjacent to it. It's mine. It was separated when I bought it, but I've never changed that. And so because of that reason, that was, if you all will remember, included into the ordinance as one way that you could make an appeal. So we've not gotten a ton of those, but we have gotten some thus far. And so when you give us the property addresses and everything, we go and we look those plats up, and so that we can see that there are contiguous properties, and we can make that modification as we move forward in the process. And then the final appeal method is if you have a current landline phone. So we know that they're probably few and far between, but there are many out there that still do have a landline. And because you have paid that landline fee throughout 2025, we do not want you to have to pay twice. And so you can submit a copy, let us know that, submit a copy of your bill where it shows that on your bill, which is $4.50. $3.50. That $3.50 on your bill each month. So you're paying right now $42 per year if you have a landline phone. And so that $42 will be credited toward whatever your 911 fee for 2025 is. So all you have to do is put in the information. If you don't have the ability, or you have a citizen who doesn't have the ability to actually get online, we've had several people who've actually just brought us a copy of it. We've uploaded that for the documentation and made that appropriate adjustment as well. So for those of you, you don't want to pay that twice, so we want to make sure that we give you that credit that is owed to you. Now, the landline fee will go away December 31st of 2025. So in 2026, you should not see that on your landline bill. So if you keep your landline and that you have that moving forward, you won't see that on your bill moving forward. So in 2026, then you would only receive the land use 911 fee. So those are the four appeal reasons. I think that is probably answering a lot of the questions that we've received, unless there's other questions that you all have received that you would like for us to address moving forward, or if there's any history or any background else that you would want us to provide. I'm happy to answer any questions. We've had a team of people who've been working diligently on this for over 2 years. We appreciate the task force and everything they did to get us to this point. And then obviously our team at the county who's continuing to answer calls, submit appeals for customers, answer phones, our staff at 911 who every day make sure that we address public safety by getting our responders to the right location. And that's what this is really about. It's about funding 911 so that our responders continue to get to our citizens who may have a public safety emergency.
Thank you, Jill, for your presentation. Members of the court, does anybody have any questions? You want to have any discussion?
Jill, on the reasons for the appeal, you can only select one, right?
You can. The drop-down only allows you to select one, but there is an open text field box that will allow you to say it's a zone issue and a square footage issue, or I have a landline fee and there's a zone issue. So just make sure and put that information in the open field box. We use that as a guide to make sure we get them all taken care of, but the more information you give us, the better.
Okay, so I know, for instance, like the one we talked about this morning, they do have a landline and their square footage is wrong, so we need to document that as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's really important if they do have a landline, because that landline fee will be going away, we want to get the square footage right now, not just address the landline issue. That way it's right moving forward. The reason for sending out the letters is to make sure that our database is correct. And we want that to be the case. So the more information and the more things that we can correct now, the better.
So they need to fix that drop down where you can pick more than one. You need to be able to pick at least two issues then on the
Okay.
drop down, if that can be done.
One of the things that we have in the feedback that we've received thus far is not more people are putting more information in the open field box and are not really worrying about what the drop down is.
Yeah.
And so I would say 95% of the appeals that we've seen, we can categorize them have been incorrect square footage, even though they may tell us, hey, it's a zone issue. I'm zoned this way or that way. So I think the more things we can do to make it user-friendly, the better.
That 10 days, is that still firm?
We would like for everybody to submit their appeals as quickly as possible. That gives us the time to go through them all, get the information corrected. We obviously have a deadline in which we have to get this to the PVA and the clerk's office, and then ultimately for those to be sent out in the fall. So all of those things, if you get them, don't wait. We know the world is a procrastinating world, and if we told you you had until July 31st, you'd wait till July 31st, wouldn't you? But so the quicker that you get those, the better. And we're not closing off the appeal process yet, but that allows us time to work through that process.
Jill, is there a place on the county website that has the rate?
There is, and I'm sure Chris will bring it up for me here in just a second.
So
And it's part of the
that's
ordinance.
Some of the questions that we've had is, you know, they may have a business and they may have a residence. And so they're getting their letters and they're seeing the difference between the two and they're, well, why is there a difference in that? So I think it would be important that we have that available for people to understand why that different zoning has different fee.
Yeah, and that is on our website. If you type in the search bar on the homepage, it's a 911 fee, an entire page of information talking about the why, talking about the FAQs, and including this rate information. You know, this has been part of the presentation, since last March. So it is definitely out there. We want to be transparent. We want to know how that is. We want everyone to know how that's calculated. There's no secrets. This is part of the ordinance as well, which I believe is 2024-07. Not that I've pulled it up a time or two in the last couple of weeks, but you can see on the screen for those of you, that's a great point, Magistrate Combs, is that the single family rate is 0.016, so essentially 1.5 cents versus a multifamily. And this is why it's so important that if your zone is incorrect, you let us know. There's more than 39,000 parcels here in Madison County, and so we expected, as we pulled this information over, for there to be curveballs, there to be things that weren't anticipated. We expect there to be issues that we need to correct. And so all of those things are what we want to do. But yes, that is the rates, and those are available on our website.
Thank you.
One thing, Jill, if you will, I think is important. Obviously, we can always improve things, especially if we're diving into things. One of the things we're working on too is a 911 fee, sort of that map. Have you just? I know I stepped out here because we had somebody. Have you said that since I've been gone?
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
So I think that would be helpful because that will sort of fix the zoning things, and so we can make sure on that 911 fee classification map. I don't know what we're going to title it, but that'll clean up some of those R2s zonings that's a single family house on it.
Absolutely. And so, gosh, our team is so good. They're already bringing it up for you. So obviously, when we uncovered, as a result of the notification letters that this was an issue, we have had, and in the ordinance, it describes what those 911 classifications are, and they are based on zoning classifications. However, to the point earlier, if you're in a PUD, you may be zoned for a PUD, which is got multiple residence types inside of it. You may have a multifamily, you may have a single family, you may also have business. And so we want to make sure your 911 classification is actually how you are using the property, for example, single family. And so the map that Chris has brought up here shows those zoning, the 911 classifications, and how that overlays from a zoning classification. It may differ. Specifically for some of those areas that you mentioned. And so if you kind of look at the map, the green area, the kind of lighter green, I'm going to say, is your single family and farm dwellings. Your darker green, which you can see those are more inside your city limits because obviously they're multifamily. That's where you're going to have multifamily residences are going to be inside your city limits. The reddish color is going to be your business zones and classifications. Your yellow is going to be your industrial zones and classifications. And then your purple is going to be your public use, which those are areas like the one there to the right on the right of the screen, which is going to be the Bluegrass Army Depot. You're going to have EKU. You're going to have public parks, things of that nature. So, Chris, if you'll zoom out so you can kind of see it in totality. This will show kind of a map of the entire county, and you can see what those classification zones look like as an entire county and kind of where those pockets are. So to Judge Taylor's point, this is a great example. There's some areas inside the city limits that are utilized as multifamily, but the legacy zoning was actually business. So think about the area around Killarney and McDougal and McDaniel and all back behind the Shell station there. Years ago, in the city's zoning classifications, those were actually zoned as business because multifamily was business. Those areas may not have been improved or developed or anything since then, so the zoning still indicated on the zoning map as business, even though they're multifamily. And so this addresses that, and you can see that those areas are really multifamily versus a business. So we will probably, I don't know that it's out there yet, but we will have a link to this as well in our on our website and on the 911 fee page, so that you can see this. And then we've also shared it with all of our teams that are answering those questions, which we're happy to share it. The link with the magistrates as well, so that you can look those things up and make sure if you get one of those calls about an issue that you may not make a lot of sense, that we can kind of say, hey, no, their 911 classification should be single family or multifamily or whatever the case may be. That answer your question?
Yeah, it's good. Anyone else have anything? Conversation, discussion? All right, I'll end with this. We're here to help people. The county judge's office, our whole team, 911 team. We're here to help anybody that has an issue. I will say we're not perfect, but we're trying to be perfect by the time the property tax bills come out in October. We're trying to get perfect by the time we have to give that information to the sheriff's department so that the cards can be printed. I would encourage citizens to reach out to our office as step one and not to go to finger whipping on social media. We're not perfect, but I tell you what we are is we're honest and we're going to make information correct. And it's disappointing for a community that I love that people's first instance is to go bashing, name calling on a keyboard and does not have the decency to pick up the phone and call somebody that they know, somebody that is elected and has the phone number. I've sent many messages on Facebook yesterday saying, please call me. I called people that I had their number that were doing that on social media and said, we're here to help. And so I would just encourage, we want this to be right. And we want to get it right by the time the bill goes out. That was why that we sent the letters out. That's why we've been talking about this. That's why that it was on the property tax bill last year as a reminder. And so I would just encourage people to call me, call our office, use the information that we've sent here today. I mean, however, just not social media, criticizing and name calling and complaining and being miserable, you know.
Judge, we know some of that's going to happen because some people just don't know any better. But anyway, having come from the business world, what goes in comes out. And in this particular instance, it's very clear to me that if you have faulty information that went into the system, wherever that faulty information came from, it doesn't matter. To your point, we're going to get the blame. But if faulty information goes in, it's going to come out. Now we're in the process, because we've been so proactive, of trying to get it all straightened out. Had we done this and the bills were coming out next month, shame on us. But no, we were proactive. Sheriff was proactive in suggesting that we put this out on a notice way in advance. We're proactive because this went out, but it won't be back till October. You're right, we're not perfect, but we want to be. We're trying to be, and we're not going to be hateful. We're not going to be spiked. We're not going to get on Facebook and start calling people names. We will get this right. Please work with us, not against us. Sorry, I just felt I needed to say that.
And I think we need to say thank you to the dozens of people who have called us and done just that. We've had some great conversations with citizens over the course of the last week that truly just wanted to get it right. They had questions, they asked, they've been kind, and they want to get the right information in there. And so I appreciate that. The hundreds of people that we talked to yesterday, I think we appreciate that. I know we all appreciate how hard that our 911 team works every day. They have taken a ton of calls, as well as at our Emergency Operations Center. I don't know that everybody's been super kind to our 911 team, and they have a really, really tough job. And for those of you that are sitting up here and that all support public safety, 911 is the very critical part of public safety in getting our responders. Magistrate Botkin and I had this conversation earlier. He has a son in law enforcement, and that law enforcement officer is not getting to that location that he needs to go to without 911. And so that's what we have to remember. That's what this is about. And being kind to those people who are answering the phone, just like they're being kind to us, whether that be on social media or in real life.
Thank you all very much, and appreciate all our team, and all our people that are working on this, trying to fix it. So, you know, it's challenging, it's tough, but we're in it together, so we'll do it together. Thank you, Jill, for the presentation. Next, second reading of ordinance 2025-008, fiscal court budget for FY 25-26. Sarah.
Yes, an ordinance related to the adoption of the fiscal year 2025-2026 fiscal year budget. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the administration of the county budget, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court has reviewed the proposed fiscal year 25-26 fiscal year budget, and whereas the county treasurer has reviewed the budget to ensure sound financial practices. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the proposed fiscal year 25-26 fiscal court budget be approved. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Motion approve ordinance 2025-008, Judge.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2025-008. Any discussion? Any questions?
I just,
comments?
one question. I know we have on the agenda the 3C. Is that reflective in this budget, the cost increase on that?
No, it is not.
Okay. It will be afterwards, after we vote on the other, is that correct? We can't get the cart in front of the horse is what I'm saying. We're voting on the budget and then we'll.
Yeah, so Brian, what happens there, when you would just be over budget in that line item.
Okay.
So when it comes time, when you know, you've got, I don't know, 800,000, let's say, in that line item for medical. When you exhaust that 800,000, then now you'd be 102% over budget, 103, 105, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
But if the fiscal court approves it, that it's okay. It just comes out of surplus.
Gotcha.
You don't actually have to go in and amend that line item
Okay.
in the budget. Yeah, it'll just be over in that line item in the jail budget. Yep. Good question. Any other questions?
I just want to talk a little bit about roads. I wish Scott was here because, you know, I want to brag on our road department because they do such a good job. We've got a lot of roads. The thing is, we don't have much money for asphalt. And I think, what was it? I was going to say, it says 35-year cycles.
It depends the road, but 28 to 35, yeah.
35-year cycle. And if you look at our county roads, and almost 500 miles of county roads, and a lot of them are paved over cow paths. They weren't built up to, you know, like our state roads. A lot of state roads is built a lot more solid than some of our county roads. And so there's, if I look in my district, 7 miles, I got 161 miles in the 3rd district. 7 miles are, make up the top 10, in need of attention. 7 miles, 4% of them. And the estimated cost to fix the top 10, the 4% of roads, was like $600,000. $600,000, but I only got about $200,000 in the asphalt because of what's in the budget. So it would take 3 years to fix the top 10 roads. But I know I drive roads that are in worse shape that need to be on the list, and they're not even on the list. So I just know that sometime in the future, we're gonna have to do something about our county roads. It's not now, but I won't bring it up now. We're gonna have to address this, lack of money on asphalt sometime or another in the future, and I just want to bring that up.
What would you suggest?
Were you suggesting a tax increase?
Borrow money.
Borrow money. Go a little farther, a little more detail.
Bond, a couple $1 million, pay debt, pay it off, fix our roads, or take it out of surplus. But anyway, I'm just, and this isn't news, I mean, I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. I mean, you drive down a lot of our county roads, I can name a few for you. Oakley Wells,
Oakley Wells just got blacktopped in the last 4 or 5 years. Is it all right?
half of it did,
Half of it did?
half of it did. Flint Road's pretty rough. I mean, and then, of course, we got Hunter Lane. And it's on the top 10 list. But anyway, I just want to bring that up, that our roads is something that, not right now, but it's something that we're gonna have to, I think, look into in the future.
Well, too, Judge, it's a good point that he brought that up, and it has explained it like that, because also making this issue even worse is the fact that we just found out at our conference last week that the gas tax is going down. So a 1 cent decrease in the gas tax takes $30 million out of the budget for Blacktop. 1 cent. 1 cent to everybody in here, they told us, I didn't calculate it up to figure it up, but they told us 1 cent, if you figure out how much you drive, is $8 a year. That's nuts. They can have my $8. I want the roads fixed, and that money comes from that fund. That's where we get the money at for that.
Tom, you're absolutely right. And I've already reached out to Deanna and Jared on that. Why did we change it? It's because it's in the law. They've got to change the law. I mean, our county needs it, but the state needs it too. We're not the only county. And it's going to be meaningless to those of us who drive per se, because it's not a big amount, but yet the roads that we drive on. So, Frankfurt's going to have to change it. I wish we could change it. We could discuss it here and change it, but Frankfurt's going to have to change that.
Well, not only do they have to change it, but we, as a fiscal court, have to support them while they're changing it, because if we don't do that, then that becomes a tool for their, a political tool for their opponents who say, oh my God, they're raising the gas tax 2 cents. Well, really? They raised it $16 for us? Oh, wow. I sure hate that. We have to support them when they're making those decisions up there, because
And I think we have. Tom.
$30 million hit is a big hit.
We passed a resolution 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, we got to do what's right. We don't have to do what's going to get us reelected.
Yeah.
So just in this discussion, because again, I'm the chairman, of this group, right? And so I set the agendas, and so if I'm hearing a request of a work session to look into this, I mean, we're fine to put something together to collect data. I will say, just with that information, that, pretty good rule of thumb is for every $1 million you borrow, bond,
Yeah.
it's about a $70,000 a year payment for 20 years.
20
All right, 20 years.
Yeah, but you also got to take into effect, it can't just be one item, Judge, because we've got a situation with the jail money, we got a situation with medical, we got a situation with the sheriff's department and all that they have to do, because the state police aren't doing what they used to do. So you can't just make a statement that we need to go borrow it.
Yeah.
We got to look at everything in total.
And I do find, Billy Ray, I do, and I appreciate your comments, but I do find it funny that you're suggesting to borrow money when you've dogged me in the past for borrowing money for the county when it comes in election cycles.
Yeah, I gave you 2 options.
So.
I gave you 2 options.
So
Take out
borrowing
a
money on the
surplus.
family court building over there, that was a good buy because of bad decisions from previous fiscal courts. I got dogged for buying that, which is an asset, which is going to increase in value. And if we keep shoring up the state's shortfall without holding them accountable, then we're just getting more and more and more unfunded mandates.
Well, you asked
You know,
for some
so-
options, I give you a couple of options, and I just know that our county roads is a big part of what we're about, and they're in pretty bad shape.
So what's the suggestion I'm hearing from everybody? What would you all like me to try to put together to see if we can't improve this and afford this or in some way?
Well, I don't even know that you need to do anything right at this moment, but we're talking about the budget, and I'm just making this comment, and I'm bringing this, and we can think about this, and we don't have to do anything right now, in my opinion. But I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
My suggestion, Judge, would be advocacy is their best, route forward. I'm not interested in borrowing money to pave roads and when we got all the other liabilities and unfunded mandates that we have. And I know that you and the rest of us are going to advocate with our legislatures to make sure that, that we're getting what we need. It's ridiculous to me to save $8 a year when you can't even buy a patch and a tire for $8 a year. If you have to buy a tire, you're going to spend $250. And so do you want to buy patches and tires, or do you want roads that you don't need patches and tires? It's safety issue on top of that. We got school buses traveling these roads. We've got our families traveling these roads. They need to be fixed. And people have to understand that counties incur the inflation costs just like families do. It's not getting any cheaper to put down asphalt, even though that, as a county, we get a discount for that. We can buy it cheaper than the public can. It's still not enough. And it goes back to, anytime we adopt a road, it's a net loss for the county anytime a new road is adopted because there's not money to fix it now. When you add a road, you just add more obligation with the same funds. So it's a big problem. It's not a problem that we can fix on our own. We have to have support of our legislature to do it.
Well, the revenue stream for roads is in the state legislature's hands. It's not in our hands. And we're supplementing right now. If you go to the road department budget,
$425,000.
641,000. And in the past, it's been even more than that. It's been $1,800,000. We've been supplementing from the general fund, transferring from other funds. We've been supplementing since I've been here.
And
There's a lot of counties out there that don't do that. They don't have the extra funds in their general fund to. So if they don't have the money for salt and what the road fund, what their county road aid, municipal road aid sends them, they don't spend anything else.
It just include the ARPA dollars that we spent last year. In the first district, I felt like it was Christmas, to be able to do more than a mile. We got a lot done last year in the first district because of using the ARPA dollars instead of, wasting it. We spend it on roads and infrastructure. Again, I think the best route forward is advocacy. And this year is a budget year. You don't need to wait until it's the next non-budget year to start this conversation. It has to be done now.
All right, good conversation, good discussion. Anybody else? Anyone else? We do have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2025-008. I think, does anybody here needs to speak on this from the public on behalf of the budget? We have advertised it appropriately. It is second reading. Seeing nobody getting up, and we have a motion and a second to approve. Call the roll.
Marshall Hughes.
Yes.
Marshall Bachman.
Yes.
Marshall Combs.
Yes.
Marshall Lockmiller.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, thank you all very much. And I want to thank Sarah, thank Jill, thanks our finance team, all the department heads that help us work on approving and working on a budget. It's a long process. We started, Sarah, in the end of February this year, I think. Jail, we worked with the jail team. I think their draft budget has to be to Fiscal Court by April 1st. So, it is quite a long process, and we want to make sure we get it right. And I hope Fiscal Court members see that we're being efficient and conservative, especially in the amounts of monies that we're being able to save, because we do have some financial challenges. So thank you very much. All right, next is Resolution 2025-055, adopt, amend Madison County Fire Department standard operating procedures and standard operating guidelines for fiscal year 2025-2026. Chief, good to see you, buddy. Good morning.
You're ahead one, I think. The first one's 54.
Did I read the wrong one? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Chief. Resolution 2025-054, Madison County Fire Department and Bluegrass Army Depot Fire Department Mutual Aid Agreement. I guess I should have brought my readers. Yeah, I'm getting tired of being made fun of with readers, so I quit wearing them, Billy Ray.
Resolution 2025-054, a resolution of the Fiscal Court authorizing signature of a memorandum of agreement for military aid fire service between the Madison County Fire Department and the Bluegrass Army Depot Fire Department. Whereas the Madison County Fire Department, the county, and the Bluegrass Army Depot, BGAD Fire Department wish to enter into a memorandum of agreement, MOA, to secure for each of the benefits of mutual aid and fire prevention, the protection of life and property from fire and firefighting. Whereas each party has the power, control, and responsibility to provide fire and rescue services within their respective boundaries. Whereas the rendering of assistance under the terms of this MOA shall be not be mandatory, but the party receiving the request for assistance should immediately inform the requesting department if for any reason assistance cannot be rendered. Now therefore it be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution, authorize the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Chief. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-054. It's a pleasure of the court, please.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Marshall Bachman.
Yes.
Marshall Combs.
Yes.
Marshall Lockmuller.
Yes.
Marshall Hughes.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, now we'll go back to that other one there again. Resolution 2025-055, adopt, amend Madison County Fire Department standard operating procedures and standard operating guidelines for fiscal year 2025-2026. Chief.
Resolution 2025-055, a resolution of the fiscal court adopting the amendment to Madison County Fire Department Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, and Standard Operating Guidelines, SOGs, for fiscal year 2025-2026. This resolution supersedes Resolution 2025-023. Whereas the Madison County Fire Department MCFD SOPs and SOGs for fiscal year 2025-2026 were adopted by Resolution 2025-023 on March 25th, 2025. And whereas Madison County Fire Department Fire Chief Tim Gray wishes to amend the fiscal year 2025-2026 SOPs and SOGs for the daily operation and function of the Madison County Fire Department to become effective July 1, 2025. And whereas all MCFD employees are required to acknowledge receipt of and follow the Madison County Fire Department SOPs, SOGs, now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution to supersede Resolution 2025-023 and authorize the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank
Members
you.
of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-055.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Chief, was there very many changes, or this just,
We actually added 2 new ones. We had one for doing mutual aid calls if we were tied up with other service that they did not have to respond. If they had something else that was taking precedence over that at that time, that they could send another volunteer or somebody else if need be. And the other one was approving their time cards. And then if checking, they have to check to make sure their overtime rate and their hourly rate is correct. We do it, but if we miss something at the end, once they sign their time sheet, it is on them.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Anyone else? Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Marshall Combs.
Yes.
Marshall Lockmuller.
Yes.
Marshall Hughes.
Yes.
Marshall Bachman.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you
Thanks,
all.
Chief. Appreciate you guys back here. Appreciate y'all being here, okay? Resolution 2025-056, Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board Spay and Neuter Grant Application. Jill.
This is a resolution of the fiscal court approving the application and administration of the 2025 Kentucky Department of Agriculture Animal Control Advisory Board Spay and Neuter Grant Funds. Whereas the Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board is accepting applications for the 2025 Spay and Neuter Grant Program, which will be awarded on a competitive basis. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application in the amount of $1,266 for the 2025 grant program funds for spay and neuter companion animals in Madison County. And whereas local funding is considered in the scoring of these grant applications, but a local match is not required. Now therefore be it resolved on this 24th day of June 2025 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive and/or his designee is hereby authorized to make application for the 2025 spay and neuter companion grant program funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with the fund to administer this award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, and to act as the authorized correspondent for the above referenced project.
Motion approved resolution 2025-056, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any conversation, any discussion?
Jill, is it possible to get Bob Barker to say, please spay and neuter your pets at the end of our court meeting? Is that,
Well, I think he passed away, so probably not.
well, it's the spirit I'm thinking of, not necessarily the.
Yes. We have made huge strides over the course of the last year with Sissy's leadership in being able to spay and neuter more and more of our animals. Obviously, you all know we made some changes related to that in our animal control ordinance as well. But we obviously are going to apply for any grant funds that we can get out there. And if I can get Bob Barker or his legacy to do that, we would happily do that and do a PSA anytime for that, because that is the most important thing for responsible pet ownership and controlling the unwanted population is to spay and neuter your animals.
Thank you for all that you've done with our animal shelter, and the improvements that have been made. We do appreciate it.
It has definitely been a great team that has supported making those improvements and having the knowledge and leadership of community support and our team out there to make those improvements. And then obviously Brooke has made a heavy lift since she's here. I feel like I have to say this, in the ordinance and the SOPs and some of the guidance from a legal perspective. Jenny, there's others, but it has been a group effort that are getting us on a better, more firm foundation related to how we're operating animal care and control. So thank you.
Anyone else? All right, Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Magistrate Lockmiller?
Yes.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Botkin?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you all. Next is Resolution 2025-057. This is Madison County Detention Center Healthcare Facility Service Agreement for fiscal year 2025-2026. Is that not right?
I'll read it.
It
I
says
didn't
you.
know.
It
I
says
know.
you.
I didn't know. I had it in my packet, but I wasn't sure if Larry or David was actually reading this or not. So
Oh, actually, no, it does. It does. I think it does. No, it does say you.
okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, so I apologize. They're both shaking their heads as I go for it. So it's my lucky day. This is a resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve the Healthcare Facilities Services Agreement between the Madison County Detention Center and West Kentucky Correctional Healthcare LLC, doing business as Comprehensive Correctional Care. Whereas the Madison County Detention Center and Comprehensive Correctional Care desire to enter into a healthcare facilities services agreement. Whereas 3C is a Kentucky limited liability company that provides and arranges for the provision of primary care services through employed and independently contracted physicians, non-physician healthcare providers, and coordinates medical and healthcare services for persons in custody of the jail. Whereas the Madison County Jailer, Larry Brock, is pleased with the services provided by 3C and wishes to enter into the attached agreement to provide inmates with quality healthcare services. And whereas the term of this agreement shall be 1 year, commencing on July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, with an option to automatically renew annually, subject to the provisions in the following section of this agreement. The annual base contract amount for the FY 25-26 agreement is $862,551.84, plus a cost pool amount of $40,000, which equates to a combined total of $902,551,084. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Jill. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-057. Do I have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Judge, this has been a tough one. I know it's been on all of us to see this cost increase, and when I look at it, you know, as in the terms of the future of our county as far as our kids and grandkids and the cost that this jail incurs on the county. You know, it's not sustainable, and it has to go a different direction. And I don't know what that's going to take. I know another example of advocacy, and I've even asked people that have called me to please advocate as well. We need the public support. We're just your representative, and we're just one voice when we go to Frankfurt. Frankfurt is going to have to hear masses in order to fix this problem. I mean, it's going to have to, you know, be a big deal. And I think, you know, with Keiko's support, us being behind them as their advocate, I think, you know, been dealing with jail problems since 1984. And the recommendations that were made there would help today, but they've not been implemented. It's very disheartening to be a citizen and realize that you're giving this kind of money to the jail population, people that, you know, and I'm not trying to degrade anybody that's in our jail. I know people make mistakes. But we've got hardworking citizens that get up every day and go and do the right thing and pay their taxes and are valuable members of our society that want things to work that are having to pay for this. It's like we talked about last court meeting, $12,000 for one prescription. That is unheard of. Many of us would just have to go without, but we have a mandate that says that we have to provide if they're in our jail. It's very disheartening, but I know that it's something we have to pay. It's a mandate that we have to pay. I appreciate the judge negotiating this. You don't say that in our ordinance, but, you know, he negotiated this price down. It was going to be higher. And I appreciate him fighting for the citizens of Madison County to try to get a little bit of break on this. So thank you, Judge, for doing that. That's all I've got.
I want to go on with Brian's comments as well and say thank you for your efforts to bring the amount down. But yes, absolutely, we've got to go to our legislators in Frankfurt and Keiko. I don't know how some of these other counties are getting by, but and we've got to start working hard, not just yelling, not just bringing up problems, but we've got to go over there and tussle and neck wrangle and do whatever, because these are mandated state things that we have to do. But yet the state's not providing the proper funding for it. So that's all I got to say. I'm willing and ready when everybody else is, and I'm going to go on my own if you don't go.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, call the roll, please.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bachman?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank you all. See, I think the next one is David. Resolution 2025-058 to adopt Madison County Detention Center Policy Procedures Manual for FY 25-26. Good morning, David. Good to have you here.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. Resolution of the Fiscal Court adopted the Madison County Detention Center Policy Procedure Manual for FY 2025-26. Whereas the Madison County Detention Center has developed and will maintain an organizational chart and policy procedure manual, and whereas pursuant to KRS 441.055 and 501 KR 3.020, the Madison County Fiscal Court shall adopt an organizational chart and policy procedure manual for MCDC annually, which shall be filed with the Kentucky Department of Corrections, the DOC. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge, executive, and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, David. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-058. What's the pleasure of the court?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I got a comment, Judge, and I've already spoke to the jailer and David about that, and Dwight about that. And what I want to say is this. The one thing that I saw repeatedly through all of the different procedures that are involved is the notification. The notification is for somebody on staff to notify a shift commander who notifies you, or the jailer who then notifies KSP, DOC. But in none of the instances did I see anywhere through there was any notification to be made to our judge executive. I think that's one of the things that needs to be added in there, is just for no more other reason than courtesy, because the press is going to call him. The judge needs to be added in that list of notifications, and that's throughout the entire document. There are other things in here that, I've got about 10 pages of things that are highlighted that I'll discuss with you. It doesn't affect the document. The document's very well written, and there's some things that I'd like to just address with those, and we'll do that offline in the interest of time for those.
Well, there is one section there, I know, because we basically reviewed it a few different times, not this particular paragraph, but the chapter itself. If you look at chapter 1, administration and management, if you go to the policy number 2, it says, the jailer shall notify the office of the Madison County Judge Executive any unusual incidents at the Madison County Detention Center that could result in legal action against the Madison County or its officials. So we do try to keep that in mind, and you know, we're always talking internally, like, hey, you may want to give, you know, the county judge a call about this in case, you know, proper planning comes out, you know.
Yeah, that's great. If that's the overall stance through the whole document, that's fine. It's just not specific throughout each one. Escapee is a good example. There's no, in just that particular one, that's a pretty important thing, but there's no reference in there to notify the judge executive. So if you just use that first one as the overall, that's great.
Yeah, and I agree with you. There is a need, but, and I'm sure Jailer Brock will agree to this, that's something internally we would notify the county judge about. We would not keep you guys in the dark on anything that's going to give the county a black eye,
Good.
or is going to end up on social media or the 6 o'clock news.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All right, we do have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2025-058. Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank you, David. Next, Resolution 2025-059, Employee Classification Schedule for FY 2025-2026. Jill.
Yes, this is a resolution of the Fiscal Court approving the Madison County Annual Employee Classification Schedule for fiscal year 2025-2026. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established an employee classification schedule for the benefit of all employees of the fiscal court to ensure fair and consistent wages for all job classifications. Whereas the employee classification schedule is updated annually. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-059. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2025-060, Annual Employee Rate Adjustments for fiscal year 2025-2026.
This is a resolution of the fiscal court adopting the employee rate adjustments for fiscal year 2025-2026. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established employee rate adjustments for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. And whereas the merit-based rate adjustments are updated annually. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to adopt the annual employee rate adjustments for the 2025-2026 fiscal year to become effective the pay period beginning on July 2nd, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Motion approved resolution 2025-060, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2025-061, it's a mass notification siren system maintenance agreement. Chris, good morning.
This might be the shortest one ever.
Thank you, Robin. A resolution of the Fiscal Court authorizing signature of a maintenance agreement for the mass notification siren system. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court and its emergency management agency wish to enter into a maintenance agreement with the American Signal Corporation for annual maintenance, monitoring, and support of the outdoor mass notification siren system in Madison County. And whereas the parties agree to the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement, now therefore be resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to negotiate and execute the contract on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Chris. Resolution 2025-061. Can I get a motion second for approval?
So move for approval.
Second.
A motion second, any discussion?
Quick question, Chris. Hang on just a second. The American Signal Corp, are they new? I don't know why I don't remember that.
They're actually the original installers. ASC, ANS is actually, they're owned by the same guy, and they're the ones that installed it. ASC is their hardware, and ANS is their installer. So ASC is the one that we contracted with originally to be installed, and that's why we went back with them. Just in full transparency, we've tried to do our due diligence to find a better way to do this with different companies, and we just can't find a good solution that gives us, we'll say, one throat to choke. Since it's ASC hardware, ASC is the company that can best provide that to us. We're still working through the final negotiation because I know you've read this. There's lots of mistakes in there. We're going through it, trying to clean those up before we execute it with them. But ASC is the original installer, and that is the brand of the sirens that are out there.
Okay, good deal. Well, I was just concerned in the fact that there's a reference to them subcontract with A&K, which I'm familiar with them.
Yeah,
And what I really was concerned of, it looked like a layer of overhead when you talk about their parts.
It
and
is.
Adding their
It's-
cost plus
it's in an effort
15%.
to get one throat to choke, because
Okay.
what we've experienced since installation is we say the siren's not working, they say it's the radio says it's them, we turn into the finger pointing game. Tim and I and Wendy are all left in the lurch, and the issue doesn't get resolved. So what we wanted to do there is to say, you're responsible. The judge says sometimes we don't have to like it, but it's the right thing to do. That way, they have to call AMK, they have to pay AMK. Now, on the flip, we're paying that, and we're paying an inflated rate, right? But the radio system it's all the same radio system, but the devices that are connected for the sirens are not part of our 800 megahertz siren system maintenance. So we can't call them and say, go fix the radio for that, because it's not part of our agreement with them. So that's why it's got to be kind of tied into this, because it's an important aspect of the entire siren system. If it doesn't pick up on the radio, then it's not going to work.
Good, thank you.
Good stuff, good questions, good conversation. Anyone else? Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Bucking?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Next, resolution 2025-062, it's Madison County Sheriff's 2024 local tax settlement. Mary Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Department collected $72,370,004.29 in taxes for the county in 2024, and whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Department disperses payments to all districts within the county, and whereas the Madison County Sheriff's local tax settlement is prepared annually to allow state auditors to audit the Madison County Sheriff's Department's books, which is attached hereto this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute the same on behalf of the county.
All right, members of the court, you've heard resolution 2025-062. What's the pleasure of the court?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve. Any discussion? Mary Margaret, I do have one question. Is the state's portion included in that 72 million?
Yes,
Okay.
but we have not been audited by the state yet. They're coming Thursday.
Okay. But you're collecting, when y'all collect that 72 million, and I might be getting a little too technical, but I always am trying to educate the citizens because, you know, they think the county, everybody thinks the county's this group right here, right?
Right.
You know, and so when we say in a resolution, which I know you didn't write this resolution, but when we say in a resolution that you collected $72 million in taxes for the county, then everybody then thinks that $72 million is coming to our group.
You wouldn't
No,
have
you're
any
just a-
problems if that was the fact.
No, we wouldn't have to worry about it. We blacktop every road in this county every year, you
You're
know?
just approving the districts of the county.
Right, and so what we're doing, just to be clear here, is, you know, we're approving the collection that the sheriff is obligated to do by law. It's his elected duty is to collect taxes. So we're approving his collection of $72 million for all taxing districts,
Including the state.
including the state in Madison County. So I just want,
What goes through doesn't necessarily stay.
That's
Only
right.
about 5 or 6 million stay.
yeah, I think our number for what the fiscal
24.
court gets of that 72 million, I think it's about 4.5 million if you count tangibles and delinquents and real estate. The county fiscal court, we get, this group right here, of that 72 million, we get about 4.5 million. I mean, that'd be pretty close.
You get 4.25%.
There you go, so.
Yeah, but I think it's good that people understand that we're just a conduit for the other people.
Yeah.
If we don't get 72, we
So
get,
I just want to,
No, your schools get the majority of the
Yes.
monies.
so I just want to just clarify that and explain that.
That's where we need the dollar going across the screen right now, showing everybody's
Yeah,
portion of
portion.
that dollar that we get, 6% of a dollar.
yeah, I don't know why Chris didn't do that.
You'd be amazed how much, you'd be amazed how much the schools.
We're gonna have to make Chris say,
Yeah, and I just want to make sure too, because basically on our tax bills, in the property tax bills in Madison County, you know, you have it's always been 7 different lines, right? So you have the school, the state, EMS, health, library, extension, and the county. And then some do have others, because you got like the Red Lick Watershed, which that's a specific to that area down there. Not everybody obviously pays that, but,
Right.
but, I mean, that is a good fee, right? Because you got to protect that watershed down there. If you went back in the 60s and researched that, I mean, that whole area wouldn't have houses down there probably because it was all flooded, you know? That fee goes to help keep up those structures, those water structures that mitigate flooding. So some of those things are beneficial and good. So.
And I'd like to say, with this new 911 fee coming up, I hope the public, when they come to pay this in the office in October, that they don't give my people a hard time, because all we're there to do is collect the tax.
Collect it, yeah. Well, I'd say, Mary Margaret, that y'all are probably used to people giving you a hard time.
We
And
are.
y'all handle it with love and grace. And so I
try.
appreciate you, the way y'all handle that down there, because people just complain about that in general. And rightfully so. There's some on there that they should complain about. But there's some on there that, in my opinion, they shouldn't. So,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, so. All right, we have a motion to say. Any other conversation, discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Botkin?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Lockmiller?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank you all. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sheriff, appreciate y'all. Tony. Let's see. Next is Resolution 2025-063. This is the LG&E and KU Opportunity Kentucky Grant Funds. Jill.
This is a resolution of the Fiscal Court authorizing signature of an agreement for LG&E KU Opportunity Grant Funds. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is committed to promoting economic development and job creation within Madison County, Kentucky. Whereas the county was awarded LG&E KU Kentucky Opportunity Grant Funds and wishes to enter into an agreement to receive $78,177. And whereas these grant funds will allow the county to utilize the funds for a portion of the cost of due diligence services to ensure the site located on 2494 Lexington Road in northern Madison County is suitable for development. And whereas the parties agree to the terms and conditions set forth in the said agreement. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to enter into an agreement with LG&E and KU to administer this award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, and to act as the authorized correspondent for the above referenced project.
Thank you, Jill. Members of the court, you've heard Resolution 2025-063. Can I get a motion and a second to approve, please?
So moved.
second.
Any discussion?
That's a good deal right there.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that we can keep working it to where the due diligence does not cost the county taxpayer anything.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep working it to try to be as efficient as we can with this great opportunity that we have here for our community. So It's a good thing. Any questions, comments? All right, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, thank you, Jill. Next, Resolution 2025-064, Kentucky 911 Service Board Grant Funds. Wendy,
Hello.
Morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
I'm glad you're still smiling.
Yeah, well, that's, just another day. We're still there. Resolution 2025-064 is a resolution of the Fiscal Court authorizing signature of an agreement to purchase the 10-8 computer-aided dispatch, which is CAD software, utilizing the awarded Kentucky 911 Services Board grant funds. Whereas the Madison County Public Safety Advisory Board authorized the creation of a CAD committee in January of 2025 to evaluate options for a new or enhanced CAD system. And whereas the current CAD seems stale and is often hard to customize to change in a timely fashion, and whereas the CAD committee sought feedback from all Madison County users through potential demonstrations of the CAD systems or communication about other agencies' usage of other vendors, and whereas the CAD committee sought approval from the Madison County Public Safety Advisory Board to write a grant application as though they would be selecting 10.8 CAD software, which is a cutting-edge software that is completely cloud-hosted and is a device neutral for simpler maintenance of mobile data terminals and provides more options of devices. And whereas the Kentucky 911 Services Board has awarded Madison County 911 grant funds in the amount of $118,091.31 by statute, grant funding is directed for projects and established to improve delivery of 911 services in the Commonwealth, which emphasis on increasing next-generation 911 capacity. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to utilize the Kentucky 911 Services Board grant funds to purchase the 10.8 CAD software as recommended by the Madison County Public Safety Advisory Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve the resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute any documents and contracts which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, and to act as the authorized correspondent for the above referenced project.
Motion approved resolution 2025-064, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Master Lockmiller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, Wendy, appreciate the job you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If we could we take a break before we finish? I'm trying to hold off, but
I was holding off till y'all got talking.
Y'all getting old, ain't you?
Thank you.
You're supposed to get back with
We good? All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody's patience there. We needed to have a little break. So, Jessica, we go on to personnel.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I would just like to request the approval of the fiscal court for the hiring recommendations in your court packet.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Bakken?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Magistrate Lockmuller?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Chief, thank you, Jessica. Appreciate you.
This court's employee spotlight is Fire Captain Jacob Thorpe. Captain Thorpe exemplifies what it means to serve with integrity, commitment, and heart. Recently, following the devastating tornadoes that struck a neighboring county, Captain Thorpe stepped up without hesitation, coordinating and providing assistance to the emergency management staff in Laurel County so they could attend the funeral service of one of their own community responders that was a victim of the tornadoes when he was responding to save lives. His leadership, calm under pressure, and ability to collaborate across jurisdiction made a measurable impact during the incredible challenge times. Captain Thorpe was not only a first-class firefighter, but a true public servant. He consistently demonstrates unwavering work ethic, a positive attitude, and a dedication to both his team and the community. Whether he's mentoring new recruits or taking initiative on complex emergency scenes, he leads by example. His efforts reminds us that leadership is not about rank, it's about actions. He embodies relevance, team work, and service above self, and is a model of what the fire service is all about.
That's good stuff right there.
I've known Jacob since he was probably 8-year-old. I coached him in a little league, and I've watched him turn into a good fireman.
Yeah, it's good.
Appreciate you, Jacob.
Yeah, he's a good one. Yeah, appreciate you. Well, I love all the grins because all of them knew it. You didn't. They kept a good secret. Yeah, they did. Appreciate you, Jacob. Appreciate you, bunch. Appreciate all you guys. Yeah, we got a good team. So thank you, Chief. Appreciate you. Appreciate your leadership. Next, the judge's report. I don't have a whole lot, but we want to always remind people to use our community events page on our website to go in to actually put in any kind of community event so that we have one location throughout our community to where events don't overlap each other. People will know what somebody else might be doing and how they're scheduling. You can do that by visiting our website at www.madisoncountyky.gov/community events. You can see a list of events that are in there and scheduled. And then you can also put your event in there. So it's a good tool that I think that has been needed for our community for a long time. And so hopefully people utilize it, and it's about getting that message out to folks so they know. Madison County government and its related offices will be closed on Friday, July 4th for the Independence Day holiday. Offices will reopen on Monday, July 7th at 8 a.m. And then I want to reiterate and really thank our staff, Jill, Robin in my office. What we're going through right now is tough, and I wouldn't want to have anybody else. Wendy, I wouldn't want to have anybody else on my team, and so I'm grateful. Court members, I wish that you could see how awesome of our team that you all have been a part of hiring and putting together. I wish you could see it from my lens on a daily basis, and I'm honored to serve with them, and I'm very thankful for each and every one of them. Because we truly work for citizens every day, whether citizens are miserable or not. We work for them every day to better them, to make decisions that best suits them, trying to make a great community that has a wonderful quality of life. And so appreciate each and every one of you. All right, and hope Robin and them are watching. I know Chris and them are back here in the back. He's been a huge help in his team. So it's a team effort. And I'm sure there's some I'm not recognizing and forgetting. But even though things get tough, I can get aggravated. I appreciate everybody's grace and love that they give me. So I just want to thank everybody publicly. So. All right, Billy Ray, comments from magistrates.
Yeah, I want to mention the Madison County Farm Bureau Federation 2025 Member Appreciation Picnic and Annual Meeting at the Fairgrounds on Tuesday, July the 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. It's going to be a party. Door prizes, inflatables, live music, Kona Ice, kettle corn, hearing clinic, cornhole. Members are free. Non-members $10. Children 12 and under free. So, Farm Bureau picnic. Tuesday, July the 8th. Another thing I want to mention is Union City. Big deal going on in Union City. Brandon Fritz and Sam Kirby reopened the Union City Grocery. I got my Union City t-shirt on today. What does that say on the back of it, Judge?
More than a store, a Union City tradition.
A Union City tradition. So if you haven't been down to Union City and check out the store, it's a big deal. And the way I'm feeling, I'm going to show up down there Saturday morning about 9:30 and do a little concerto with my guitar. And Mary Lois Kearns, if you're listening, you come on down, we'll break out a little guitar zan. That's all I got, Judge.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, Judge, I don't have a lot, but I do have a few things I want to say, and mostly I want to start with this. You remember 2022 was a pretty rough year for me. My mother passed away in 2022, and the year before that was just a rough year. I don't know how many times, 3, 4 times in the middle of the night, she would get up and fall, and I'd be the first call that she would make, and I'd have to get up in the middle of the night, or if I wasn't, which I had retired by then, I'd run down to her house, get down there only to find out, she's on the floor, maybe she's broken something, maybe she's not broken something. She was always bleeding. And I brought this with me. This is my 911 bill, $42.21. And I want to tell you, this is what I got to say about this. And all those times that I ran down there in the middle of the night and called 911 and had EMS show up and haul her out of there, and all the times that I had a accident at work when I worked out at Okanite and had an ambulance have come in there and take me out of there in the middle of the night, not one time in any of those instances did I ever think about paying $42.21. You have to remember what this is for. If you've got emergency, I don't care when it is, broad daylight, middle of the night, out on the interstate, something's on fire. If your house is on fire, you're not going to care about $42. You're not going to care about $50. You're not going to care about $100. Please remember what this is for, and please remember the service that you receive from this. I'm finished with that, Judge. If anyone needs me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thank you, buddy. Brian?
First thing, oh, I got some clapping back there. First thing, my number is 582-8130. If you guys need anything with this 911 fee, we need to work things out, we're here to help. We're here to get it right. Just like Tom said, it's important. It's important to have this service in our community. I know I've used it several times in my lifetime, and I didn't ask questions when they showed up. So it's very important. Second thing, you see a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of them I know personally, that profess to be Christian. And I don't doubt that. That's between them and God. Maybe just a suggestion. If you don't have anybody to pray for your county. Pray for the judge's office. Pray for the leaders in our county, our department heads. And then if you've got something to say after that, by all means, go to Facebook and blast them. And that's between you and God, too. Other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here and serve.
Glad you're here, buddy. Appreciate you.
Amen, Brian.
Steve.
Amen. Yes, I just want to thank, I want to ask a question first. Is there any short, sweet summary where we stand on the Northern Fire Station? I know it's a process, but is there any brief update on it?
So I can give you a little bit of one. So it's actually in the process right now to remove that restriction in circuit court.
Still.
And I did get actually confirmation this morning that a next step, I don't want to misspeak on the step because I don't know that judicial part, but a next step has been made to create a board. It's like a review board that reviews this situation. It's kind of part of the law. I mean, so those individuals have been picked by the circuit judge, and so now hopefully the ball will be moving. We're still shooting for that to be settled in August. You know, that's kind of when the timeline is. And so as soon as that restriction gets released, then we'll be able to move forward quickly.
Good.
We're ready.
Yeah.
We're still having some meetings with our construction team that we've already approved to do it. And so we're still kind of having those conversations once a month just to be ready. So
I knew it was. I just wanted to get an update for the citizens out there and constituents that's been asking, so thank you, Judge. I want to reiterate thank you to all those who work so hard in the budget. I know it kind of falls on Sarah, but it falls on a lot of heads. But thank you all. You did a great job. Also, for Team 911, meaning all those that service 911 and deliver 911 services, but also for those who are taking the calls. And I'm like Brian, my number is 859-661-1086. Please call, happy to do anything. I took a couple calls in the last couple days on a couple other issues, but you know, let's try to be nice to each other. Let's stop the hate. We got enough hate nationally. I don't know why we have to have hate in Madison County. So we're here to serve. Again, 859-661-1086. Thank you, Judge.
You got any update on the distillery projects?
They're in the courts.
still in the courts. Yep. Kenny?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. I'll make them short as I can. I want to mention Gary Abney passed away, and his funeral was actually right now. Remember him and his family. Brian works for me, and Gary's just a good man. And if it wasn't for people like Gary, we wouldn't be here. He's a pillar of our community, worked State Bank for years, Board of Regents Eastern, just a good man. And I want to think that most of the people out there that are hearing this 911 news are like Gary Abney. And they know what needs to be done for our community, what's good for our community. And I want y'all to remember another thing. For the one person that's saying horrible, hateful things on Facebook, there are 5 out there that are saying, well, that person's a fool. I want to pay more for 911. Can we hire more people to answer the phones? You're not hearing from everybody when you're looking at that rectangle, and people are being hateful and irrational, basically. So just remember that and keep that. And for the people out there that have those negative attitudes, remember you're outnumbered. That money is not being wasted. Those tax dollars, that little bit out of that dollar that Brian likes, that it's not being wasted. There are people every day, all day long, doing the most they can with that money. And the other thing I've stayed off this when it's come up several times, and the people in Frankfort can do as they please. But their school system's number 1 in Madison County for what they collect in taxes. The state's number 2. So when you call and complain here about a road, you're calling the county. They're getting a small part of your property tax dollars. The state's getting a big part. Did you call your legislators and complain about that same road? Because what's happening in Frankfort is they're wanting to tell you how much money they're saving you. At the same time, they're not taking in less over here, and they're taking away from over here. They're not handing that money back down to these counties to run jails and pave roads. They're not saving you money at the end of the day. So think about things. When it sounds like such a good idea that they're saving me on taxes, they're not. They're getting it from somewhere else. I'm off my soapbox about that. I try not to be political. I don't want to be political, but that's a fact. If you look at how the numbers are shifting, they're saving the taxpayers' dollars on one side, and they're charging them more, and somebody else is going to have to charge them more on the other, and it's falling to the counties, and y'all said many times, it's just not fair. It's not the way things should be. But please, folks, be patient. This time on one thing, it's new. It had to happen. We've been on the gravy train with CSEP and the nerve gas since I was in 8th grade, basically. And it's over. And we're going to have to recover some of those costs, and it's got to come from somewhere. And I can't think of anything better to spend on than 911. I used it for the first time last week, I believe, in my whole life. So I appreciated the person on the phone and how they handled it, and everything went well. That's all I've got. I'm not giving my cell phone number out.
So, I'm a numbers guy, because I think numbers tell a story, Kenny. And I haven't had a landline phone for 15 years. I think that's pretty accurate. And so if you just took the average, let's say there's 30,000 parcels of land in Madison County that had a landline, that should have a landline. Some would have more, some might not have any, right? But you just use that number, 30,000 parcels across our county that had a landline phone, and they hadn't been paying it for 10 years. That is $12,600,000 that should have been going towards a 911 fee for just the last 10 years that we've not collected, right? Because of a federal program, because we've got a great director and a great team that runs it efficiently, you know, but because we've done it jointly as the three governments, and the three governments has helped offset some of those costs. But I mean, just put it in perspective, if everybody had been paying what they already should have been paying, we probably wouldn't be doing this right now. You know, but again, it goes back to people, you know, are in the moment. They're not about necessary tomorrow, and they're not necessary about yesterday. They're in the moment. And it's unfortunate. I appreciate the kind words, Kenny, and sort of bringing that to light. Man, I've been a little stubborn. My wife got off of Facebook about 4 months ago, and I've been saying that I'm going to do it. I'm going to get off Facebook. I'm going to get off Facebook. But you know, I keep coming back to, how can I let these miserable people that like to finger whip, how can I let them rob me of the good things that are on social media?
Yep.
Like,
It will always be a net loss.
like somebody's birthday.
Amen.
Somebody that I can see on there and scroll, and I can send them a text message to say, hey, happy birthday. You know, to not miss something that is in the calendar. To not be able to see something that pops up that's a good memory of my dad, or a pack-a-ball from 11 years ago, or that maybe I looked better 11 years ago, you know, had more hair. Why am I going to let miserable people rob me from a bit of happiness? I mean, that's what I'm struggling with, because do I not only see that, but I see the criticism and the negativity. You know, if you can't say it to somebody's face, or at least on the phone, I mean, you shouldn't say it. I mean, just plain and simple. So, but I appreciate the kind words, Kenny, there, and kind of the acknowledging that, because you are correct. Counselor, do you have anything? Thank you very much. Department heads. Chris, you got anything? You just.
Got a citizen presentation.
Okay.
Public comment.
Yeah, that's good. So no department heads, nobody else? All right, public comment. Come on up.
We're gonna try to be fancy here. We're gonna see what's gonna happen.
So while he's getting that up, I just want to say, I don't mind paying my 911 fee. I think we all would be.
It is, it's a lot better. Can you just point it down? There you go. Just
There we
up.
go.
That's
Can you hear me
good.
now?
Yes.
911 fee, we absolutely should have it. We don't want to be one of those counties you see in a crisis and they ain't got an ambulance or police responding and nobody knows where anywhere's at. Anyway, I commend you all. I got my little thing. It's not a big deal. So I have sent this invitation to Judge Taylor, but I wanted to come here today to address, I'm a volunteer with Enrich. I'm currently the director of the drop-in services. Before that, I was a volunteer with another nonprofit. And before that, I was a mom, still a mom. But I got interviewed for this documentary that I'm going to show you a little clip about in 2019 before I started any volunteer work. And it's about some of the unethical and sometimes illegal practices in the addiction recovery industry, where sometimes businesses put profits above an individual's health care. And it's a very impactful film. I wish that everybody who has any decision-making in the county and the state and the country could see it. You can only see it at a film festival or at a private screening. You won't find it on YouTube. You won't even find this clip on YouTube. He's very protective of the film. It's very controversial, and I wish that everybody in here would come and see it on next Monday at 6:30 at the O'Donnell Auditorium on EKU's campus. We've collaborated with EKU Public Health to make the showing. It is free to anybody who would want to come, and I strongly suggest it's a very impactful film. So if Chris is going to play the clip, I think, for us.
And that's in the Whitlock building, correct?
In the Whitlock building,
Yeah,
yes. We'll have some people out there guiding you to the place.
How did you get into the first treatment center?
I made a phone call to a hotline.
I didn't know anything about rehab before I needed it. But it saved my life.
I really thought that I was going somewhere to get help.
So how is it possible that it's killing other people?
He's been Michigan, California about 3 times in the last year and a half.
I call it a washing machine. You take a dirty old substance abuser and you put them into the treatment setting.
My name is Ben, and I'm going to tell you a story.
Turns out there are lots of ways to make money off of somebody trying to get sober.
It's been dubbed the Florida Shuffle. Drug addicts from across the country have been lured to the Sunshine
Addicts
State.
are now being paid to come to California.
It'd been happening for years by the time I heard about it. They were just trying to get people on the door, right?
I was trying to get people in the door, yeah. I was selling people.
So you have a quota?
Oh, I shouldn't be telling you this.
And it's still happening. These are just a few of the stories.
So we have good treatment centers, we have bad treatment centers. There's good and bad here in Kentucky. In 2019, we didn't have a string of rehabs, and it was a whole lot harder to get into treatment than it is right now. I'm very thankful that we do have the resources we have here now, but I encourage everybody to see it if you can. We would love to have you. We'll have some light refreshments since it's around dinner time. So, all right, thank you.
Good, I'll be there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, is there anyone else? Any public comments? All right, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Buchan?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lockmuller?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next meeting is June 30th. Well, so let me say this. There's going to be, okay. So there will be a Madison County Fiscal Court meeting on June 30th. The reason that is because in the past, court members that have been here, which it had been done this way for a long time, that at the end of the year, we would have acknowledged the claims that we would have between now and the end of the year, June 30th. And then what the finance office would do is for those expenditures that we made to end our fiscal year, we would bring that list to you all on the first meeting of July. So you'd have it, right? So everything was transparent. It's the way it was done, well before even me. But this past year's audit, the auditors have changed all the other audits from the past and says that you should not do that. And so we have scheduled a fiscal court meeting that is a regular scheduled meeting on June 30th, which is a Monday at 9:30. So this actual coming Monday at 9:30, we will have our next fiscal court meeting right here. And we do already obviously know that we're going to need that. Now, it is going to be, as far as I know right now, it'll be paying the claims and approving the transfers.
Short meeting.
Is what it'll be. Now, if there's anything, obviously with it being a special call meeting, if there's anything that comes up that we need to address, that could be on the agenda. But no different. We're gonna try to get the agenda, we'll get the agenda out Friday, and we'll get the claims list to you all, and so you'll have it, okay? It's a little different than normal. So, I wouldn't call it a full fiscal court meeting, you know? So, that's the reason for it, all right? All right. I need a motion second to adjourn, please.
Moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Lightmiller?
Yes.
Pastor Hughes?
Yes.
Pastor Buchan?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Appreciate you.